Hello fragrance fans, it's Captain Sensible back here again. I'm going to do a quick fragrance review before Mr. Smelly does his video. Today we're going to be looking at L'air de Desert MAROCAIN by Andy Tao. Now this is a great one, this one. It smells spicy and rich. I'll give it a 10 out of 10, it's beautiful. Bit much for the hot weather we've been having here. It's been really nice in England. In fact, I was doing a bit of work in the garden. It took me back to one summer when I was a young lad, and I worked for the summer on this farm near me. I was helping this farmer out, moving bales of hay around, and I really loved it, and I did a good job. At the end of the summer, he came up to me and he said, "You've done such a good job. I'm going to invite you to a party I'm having tonight." I said, "Oh, great." He said, "Yeah, I hope you can drink a fair bit." And I said, "Yep, I'd started drinking with my mates, so I said, I can handle myself, no problem." And he said, "It could get a bit rough, so I hope you can handle yourself in a fight." So I laughed. I hoped he was joking, but I said, "Yeah, well, I built up my muscles moving all this hay all summer." And then he said, "And one more thing, son, you'll probably get laid." So I said, "Well, great, I'll go home and put on my best shirt." He said, "Don't worry about that, son. It's just going to be you and me."
Hello guys, welcome back to everybody in the Smelly Army. So today, a new concept. We're going to be having a look at 4 fragrances, and the challenge is that I've set myself, you have to pick one amazing niche fragrance, one amazing indie fragrance, one designer, and one cheapie fragrance for a fantastic 4 fragrance lineup. The video today is sponsored by my friends over at Fragrance Samples UK. That's my recommended place to buy fragrance samples in the EU and in the UK. They cater to the UK plus 14 other EU countries, which you can find listed in the description along with a link to the company's website. Fantastic place to get your samples. They've got a range of over 600 niche, designer, indie, you name it, and it's run by my great friend Greg from the Greggieboy76 channel, one of my all-time favourite YouTube reviewers. Okay, and of course you can sample all the 4 fragrances in today's video there too. So let's get stuck into the list. Here we go. So I'm going to kick off with the most expensive one first. That's L'air de Desert MAROCAIN from Andy Tao. This of course is the indie stroke artisanal perfumery category in the list. Okay, this one you can pick it up for around about £99 in the UK for your 50ml bottle. Great value when you consider what a fantastic work of art this one is. First created in the year 2005 by Swiss perfumer Andy Tao, it was intended to evoke the aura, or maybe even the scent, of a night out in Marrakesh with the air of the Maghreb desert blowing across the skies of Morocco. So it's a spicy fragrance. It's got a lot of woody undertones to it as well. It's very rich, it's very aromatic, and yet it's tremendously wearable. A beautiful, wonderful fragrance. Some of the notes include things like there's petitgrain, there's lavender in here, there's amber in the base, there's labdanum giving a kind of an incensey feel, there's cumin and coriander, so it's quite a spicy fragrance, of course evoking the many spices of the markets of Morocco. So you get this wonderfully exotic aura about the fragrance, but also to me with that lavender note you get almost a little bit of this slightly barbershop-ish feel, I think, and it makes it very, very wearable. It's kind of warming and rich, and yet never unctuous or in your face or over the top in any way. It's an exotic smell, but it's classy and it's refined. It is almost a little bit airy, as the name would maybe suggest, but on the air, that air of the Moroccan desert is carrying these wonderfully exotic spices, these woody undertones, this little bit of sweetness, and it just gives you this fantastically romantic kind of image when you wear it. And it goes, for me, in any kind of situation. Most seasons I can wear it in the evening, certainly in the heat of the summer. Probably not going to want to wear it in the daytime, but the rest of the time, fine. Very much a unisex fragrance, I feel, but I know mainly I think guys tend to go for this one. Superb juice, great longevity and projection, and it's one of the real classic works of art of the indie niche game, and I'm surprised you can still buy it for just under £100. If you had to name one fragrance that maybe got it all going in terms of indie niche small houses and got amazing reviews, written reviews, some great perfume writers, highly respected by everyone, you would have to say L'air de Desert MAROCAIN started the whole thing.
Don't forget, if you'd like to join the Smelly Army private members club over on Patreon, there's a link in the description to do that. It costs just $2 a month and you get an extra video from me every week, plus you get to watch everything I've already uploaded in there. We're building a really nice community, lots of interaction, and I'd love to see you in there.
Okay guys, so moving on to the mainstream niche. So this one, you know, I'm calling indie artisan. You're not going to find something like this in every department store the way you do with Amouage or Creed or maybe Xerjoff. So now we're going for more of a mainstream niche house that most people maybe have come across in their travels. Here we go. So it was tricky to find a fragrance under £100 because a lot of them cost a lot more than that. So I've gone for Sartorial from PENHALIGON'S. What a great fragrance this is. I can find this, a full bottle, online for something like £72 today in the UK. So that's great value for 100ml. Sartorial has a wonderful story behind it again, as did L'air du Désert Marocain. First released in 2010, perfumer Bertrand Duchefort, the legendary perfumer. And this one is intended to evoke the concept, or maybe the smell literally, of a tailor's workshop in Savile Row in London. Naughton and Sons, in fact. Naughton spelled N-O-R-T-O-N, not the way my name is spelled, N-A-U-G-H-T-O-N. I've often wished my name was spelled N-O-R-T-O-N because I'm tired of always having to spell it out to people who assume it's spelt the normal English way. But unfortunately, it's a kind of Irish spelling, which is really annoying. Anyway, back to the story. Lots of typical aromatic fougere notes in here. It's an aromatic fougere fragrance. So there's lavender, there's oak moss, there's vetiver, I think there's tonka. But it also has some really clever twists. So there's a metallic note intended to symbolize something of the air of the snapping of the scissors of the tailor. So the metallic smell of his scissors is in there. There's a beeswax accord, which is intended to evoke the idea that they put beeswax on the thread or something, or they used to. So I don't know why. But anyway, beeswax is involved in tailoring in some way, and that's in there. So it's a kind of sweet, maybe honey-like note. It's very distinctive if you've ever smelt beeswax. It's quite pungent stuff. There's just a hint of that in there. There's also something that I think is intended to give us the idea of the steam press, maybe pressing the wool or pressing trousers, that kind of thing. That kind of thing, when you get hotness on wool, it gives you a very distinctive, kind of unusual smell. And there is just a hint of that in here. So it's a very clever, sophisticated, kind of modern take on an aromatic fougere. If you like things like Brut by Fabergé, Drakkar Noir, if you like Hubigant's Fougere Royale, this gives you this modern twist on it. It's very, very clever, very dry, and quite a grown-up smell, but it actually seems to be really popular with ladies. Claire from the Smurfy Girly channel, my great friend, who is not a great fan overall generally of fougères, really likes this one and says it's great. Performance, just okay for me, not amazing, but acceptable and fine. Dignified, polite, a civilized and wonderful grown-up kind of smell with this one. So great for any occasion, signature scent worthy, totally. Sartorial from PENHALIGON'S, if you want a great value niche fragrance under £100 and a great story behind it. I think this fits the bill. Moving on then, it's designer next. If you're enjoying the video and you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe by hitting the button down there, then you won't miss any of my future videos. So my designer choice may be controversial because I've gone for a discontinued one, but it is, you can sample this on Fragrance Samples UK, which is great. They have a number of rare discontinued ones on the sites alongside all the big niche names, and there's designer fragrances too. You know, non-discontinued designer fragrances also are there. Gucci Envy then, so happy to have this one. Now, I know I said that niche and the indie ones have to be under 100. You may say, well, you can't pick this up as a whole bottle very easily because on eBay prices getting inflated. I got mine for under £50 for 50ml. I was a bit lucky, but if you hang out on eBay, you probably can do the same at some point if you're patient. Superb 1998 release from Gucci. I think it was when they were under the stewardship of Tom Ford. And this is an oriental woody fragrance. Lovely, spicy notes, a little bit of sweetness, and really nice creamy sandalwood. Some people say it's even similar and up there with Egoist from Chanel in terms of having a really good sandalwood note in a designer fragrance. It's green, so it's got a little bit of a greenness, a little bit of an old school smell. There's a lovely ginger note here. I always like that note in fragrances, so if you enjoy ginger, you're going to probably like this one. Ginger mixed with some other spices, lovely creamy woods, really nice performance, and just a unique smell. I don't find anything as good as this very often coming out from designer houses these days. Gucci Envy. A funny little bottle design with the lid taking up most of the thing, but anyway, that's not the point here. It's a classic. It's a real classic fragrance, and it's something that is kind of unique, kind of sexy and sensual with the sweetness and the spiciness, a little bit grown up too. So for old school fans like me, it's got enough to keep us feeling that it's a retro vibe a little bit, but it's also got sweetness and spicy, so it doesn't smell like it was made in the 70s. It's not too off-putting for those of you who want to smell up to date. Still, a total classic. Gucci Envy 1998. That's my designer pick. Let me know in the comments your 4 choices in this challenge. So finally, it's time for my cheapie choice, and I'm going for Club de Nuit Milestone from ARMAF. They've got this on the Fragrance Samples UK website if you want to try it out. Essentially, it's their take on Millesime Imperial by Creed, and it's very, very close. ARMAF, famous for Club de Nuit Intense Man, their version of Creed's Aventus. That's okay, but it's not massively similar in smell to Aventus. It's so-so. This one is bang on, so similar to my Millesime Imperial, it's untrue. A beautiful citrus aromatic fragrance, often described as being a bit like salty watermelon. Not a bad description. I think there's mandarin orange and bergamot and lemon, many citrus notes in here, but it comes off in the end maybe with this kind of juicy, fruity version of citrus rather than a sharp biting version. And this lovely salty sea air ozonic thing is in there as well. It's really exquisite and fun and just youthful smelling. A lovely citrus aromatic fragrance, and this captures everything that you love about Millesime Imperial. It's very hard to tell the scent apart, except I do honestly find this one lasts longer and projects better than my Creed Millesime Imperial. This fragrance, if you do want a full bottle, you can get it on eBay for around about £35 in the UK. That is an absolute steal. These are all total classics. So 4 great choices, I think. Let me know your picks down below. I'm going to tag some people. I'm going to tag Greg from the Greggieboy76 channel to do this challenge. What about Carlos, the Brooklyn fragrance lover over in New York? And I'm going to tag Tony from the Fragdictive channel here in the UK, and anyone else in Fragcom who wants to do it. Thank you ever so much for joining, and remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. Bye bye.